The Republicans are denying that they want to erase transgender people, but what happened in Montana and the silencing of Zoe Zephyr proves otherwise. Now, the governor Greg Gianforte was convicted of assault against a reporter, proving that the Montana GOP does not care about decorum. So, now the most recent conservative political action conference, known as CPAC, was an anti-trans hate fest, but even by their low standards, the effort by D-list speaker Michael Knowles to get attention was revolting and sickening in that matter. But there can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism, he declared, successfully beating Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene in the headline attracting contest. For the good of society, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. That's according to what Michael Knowles' claim was. It's a well-crafted troll garnering not just outrage, but creating an opportunity for right-wingers to pretend Knowles wasn't saying what he was obviously saying. Now, sure enough, when progressives pointed out that Knowles' rhetoric is genocidal, that you can't eradicate transgenderism without eradicating trans people. And there is a tedious and predictable explosion of disingenuous umbrage taken on the right. They're just talking about the ideology, but they insisted eluding the fact that the ideological belief in question is that trans people have a right to exist. Now, the angels dancing on heads of pins argument that you can somehow separate hatred of trans ideology from hatred of trans people has always been bad faith. And that was once again proven this week in Montana, where Republicans voted for the removal of a trans legislator from the state house. Now, this all started last month when Montana Republicans brought up a bill to ban trans kids from receiving gender-affirming care, such as puberty blockers. Now, the bill, like those in other states, is being justified with false accusations that adults are pressuring minors into transitioning, which is not the case, but allowing anti-trans people to claim that they are protecting children, which they're not. Now, all of these bills restricting trans rights to health care and public accommodation are not about protecting children, but much less some vague claim about ideology. It's about a belief that trans people should be booted from public life altogether, in a word, eradicated. So last week, Democratic State Representative Zoe Zephyr, who is transgender, denounced the bill by saying this: "I hope the next time that there's an invocation, when you bow your heads in prayer, you see the blood on your fucking hands." Now for this, Zephyr has now been barred from the state house floor at a party line vote held Wednesday. Now Republicans claim it wasn't just the words, but because Zephyr supposedly encouraged a protest on the behalf on Monday. And that excuse doesn't fly, however, as the protest was in response to earlier Republican efforts to silence Zephyr by cutting off the microphone and barring Zephyr from debate. Now, the Republicans claim that this is not about trying to erase the voice and presence of the only trans person in the state legislature from debate about what kind of health care that trans people are allowed to have. Instead, as with the bad faith justifications for the similar Tennessee 3 explosion votes earlier this month, there's a lot of Republican lip-flapping about decorum and civility. Now, this is transparent nonsense anywhere, but especially in Montana, where the Republican governor was literally convicted of using violence to silence a journalist who had done nothing more than ask him a simple fucking question. Now, back in 2017, the Guardian reporter Ben Jacobs asked the then State House candidate Greg Gianforte about his healthcare views, to which Gianforte exploded in rage. He basically told him, "Get the fuck out of here." And Gianforte can be heard on tape as he body slams Jacobs. Now, Gianforte was convicted later that year, and he has since been handsomely rewarded for his violent temper by Republicans who promoted him to the governor's mansion, when he should have obviously lost his position. Now, obviously, the party that's about to renominate Donald Trump for squatter, even after he incited a Klan insurrection, does not care about decorum. They do care very much about doing whatever the fuck they can to silence, erase, and yes, eradicate transgender people. As Zephyr had told NBC News, she is not being hyperbolic when she says Republicans are killing people with anti-trans bills, and studies show anywhere from 40 to 56% of trans and non-binary young people have attempted suicide, with higher rates in the red states. Research published by the American Academy of Pediatrics shows that gender-affirming care, like puberty blockers, is highly effective at reducing suicidal ideation in the younger people. Now, Republicans have been shown these statistics again and again, but they keep banning this life-saving care anyway because they don't give a shit. It's hard to avoid the conclusion that Republicans would rather have young people be dead than trans. And it sounds fucking harsh, but this is the same party that's more avid about banning books than banning guns as well. and the same party that is passing draconian abortion bans even as the evidence piles up that it's maiming and will likely start killing women to do so. Republicans simply don't care who their policies kill as long as they get to control anybody they want, how to use your body, and even what you're allowed to think about and what not to think about. Now, with Gianforte, the cruelty is incredibly personal. His own son, David, identifies as a non-binary, and he has publicly pleaded with his father to veto this anti-trans bill, writing that these bills are immoral, unjust, and frankly a violation of human rights. Yet Governor Gianforte has publicly demurred when asked if his own child's concerns bother him enough to consider signing the bill that he has been eagerly supporting so far. I wouldn't hold your fucking breath, however, waiting for Greg Body Slam Gianforte to start showing signs of any humanity or empathy or sympathy anytime soon. Now, meanwhile, outside of Montana, the genocidal impulse towards LGBTQ people continues to animate the Republican Party. Now, in Florida, the Republicans dramatically expanded the Don't Say Gay bill to high school students in an overt effort to force teenagers back into the closet, and they also passed provisions to criminalize gender-affirming care for minors, threatening parents and medical providers with prison if they want to save the lives of trans people. To make the situation uglier, Florida Republicans have also passed a bill that would make it legal for the state to remove transgender people and from the homes of parents who support their gender identity. Now, the United Nations classifies the abduction of children to educate them as a grave violation. That's why the International Criminal Court has charged Russian President Vladimir Putin with war crimes. Now, Putin is being accused of conspiring to kidnap Ukrainian children to force them to be Russian loyalists. Now, taking someone's child to brainwash them to hate themselves and or their family is taken that seriously as a human rights violation, and for good reason. And it's not that Republicans care how much psychological damage that they would do to children by going this route, because causing pain to those who see them as different is the entire point. Now, Zephyr, for her part, remains defiant, and during her speech before she was officially banned from the floor, said that she refuses to be complicit in this legislature's eradication of our community. Now, Rex Hupke of USA Today had argued that there is some good to be found in seeing what the smallness of Republicans in the Montana legislature did to Zoe Zephyr. By trying to silence her, they made sure she was heard. She went from a relatively unknown politician to a nationwide figure. And just by being visible, Zephyr is doing the necessary and basic work of showing people that they may not know much about trans people, that she is not a scary figure at all. She's just a woman trying to do her job and live her fucking life. She's not a threat to kids, but she is trying to protect them. Now, that visibility terrifies Republicans. It's why they threw a fucking tantrum over Budweiser sending some beers to trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney, and they see Mulvaney, who has 1.8 million followers on Instagram, as a threat simply because she's cute and charming. And she reveals the truth that they want so badly to hide, which is trans people are fine the way that they are, and they should be allowed, and they should be allowed to be themselves, and they should not be erased from existence, as Republicans clearly intend with their anti-trans legislation. See, I don't have a problem with transgender people. Okay, they basically, they're here to stay. They can live their life as much as they fucking want to, because that's what they're gonna do. So basically, but if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. And if you want to, you can also leave a comment, let me know what you think. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of YouTube. And for just a little as a few bucks a video or a month, your donation can help go a long way. And thanks for listening.